Hello guys and welcome. First of all, I'm really sorry. I'm posting after a very long time. By the way, today we are making a real-time chatting application using Shocket.io, maybe SQLite. We'll see what all things which we'll read. We'll be figuring it out during the way. I mean, this will all be in MERN stack in TypeScript so that you can get the maximum out of it. And I hope so. This video will be helping you in learning something, achieving something, and all of those things, right? So let's quickly jump in and start development, right? So first thing what we'll do is we'll go to a desktop, right? And we'll go to projects, right? And we'll do what? We'll create a new folder and we'll call it, we will have to name our name our chatting application something. So what should we name our chatting application? Let's name it something like XChat, WeChat. Let's call it WeChat. No, Happy Chat. Yeah, Happy Chat. No, that's not a cool name. Pro Chat. Okay, so all the professional work will be done, like all the professional chatters will be there in this particular. I don't know, the chatters is a word. I don't think so. Whatever it is, like, will be I mean, this is what it is, right? So we'll make two different folders. One we'll be calling it what? We'll call it pro chat backend, right? And the front end will be making it using Vite. So yarn create Vite. If you're thinking, why am I not using create React app? I can, but I think Vite is let me name the application ProChat front end, right? Because I think Vite is like much more fast and much more like it's not very heavy. So we are selecting TypeScript as a language, right? Yeah, we are selecting TypeScript as a language, and then what we'll do? Okay, so the idea is basically to use GitHub as a auth provider. I mean, we'll be using GitHub. You need to use GitHub account to log in into this application. And right, so let's start with the backend, right? Okay. Let's start by adding some of the development dependencies. So I'm using yarn here. You can use anything what you want. First of all, let's run yarn init/y. That will simply create a package.json file with all the default configuration. You can definitely hit, like, you can avoid writing /y and give you all your configuration, or you can configure it later on. It's up to you. It's completely configurable, right? So we'll add TypeScript as a development dependency. What else can we add as a development dependency? I don't know. I'm confused. @type/node. So this is all the Node.js thing. I mean, this will give us the type definition of all the Node stuff, which is available by default. Do we need anything else for development? I don't know. We might use Babel or Webpack, but we'll not be using any package manager for now because that will overcomplicate the thing, and that's what I exactly don't want to do. Let's add some of the production dependencies. So I mean, Express, course, helmet. We'll be adding SQLite later on, not right now. Okay. Maybe we'll be using Connects. I haven't used Connects before. It is like a query builder for SQL query builder, right? So we'll be using SQLite for this purpose, but this will be actually helping us to build the queries. So it's yarn add, express, course, helmet, connect. Anything else? Let's hit enter. If we'll be remembering anything else, anything new, we'll be adding it eventually, right? So let's add more stuff. Now let's add all the type definition of all these things. So express type definition, course type. By the way, course is like cross origin resource sharing, and it's like we'll be configuring course using this package, right? Types, course, helmet, Morgan. Anything else? Don't know. if we remember, we'll be adding it later. Now, first of all, let's do one thing. Let's set up our development environment. So here's the backend repository. I mean, whatever it is, let's go and write src for adding all the codes. Let me make it like a little bit bigger. That's too much bigger. This much bigger, and add a folder called index.ts, which is a TypeScript file, right? And now we need a tsconfig.json file. So our very lovely Ben Award has given me a trick for this. I mean, he has created this repository. So we'll run npx tsconfig, right, dot json, right, tsconfig.json. Now this will do what is this will give us, okay, node.js, yeah, that's what we want. So this will give us a tsconfig file over here with all the very good initial settings which we need, right? So that's pretty much great. So we have like a tsconfig file. The next thing what you have to do is you have to go to this package.json file, right? And what you have to do, you have to actually write scripts over here, right? And you have to write like a build script, right? So this is all production script. We'll be having a development script and we'll be running it using TS node. If you don't know what TS node is, like a development thing which could run TypeScript directly. Like, I don't know. That's what it is. Okay. We'll call it TSC, and that should actually compile it. Then we'll have a start, which will, I don't know. I think there's a build folder. So there's a build folder inside this, which there will be an index.js file. I don't know. Let's try to compile it. Right. So what should we do over here? We will be running yarn build. Oh, we have an error. It says tsc command cannot be found. Have we actually installed TypeScript? typsc. Oh, the spelling is wrong. Oh my god. Shit. Okay. We'll do it again. Okay. So npm install type script, right? Okay, not npm, yarn add. I mean, I'm not using npm right now, right? Yarn add /d, which is development thing. And now I think I'll be able to build the thing pretty successfully. Yeah, it's done. You can see this is like dist folder, right? So this folder has the index.js file, which is like our compiled TypeScript file. So what we can do is we can just say, instead of build, we can say dist over here, which will be actually going to dist running this. And now we need a development script which could start our app in development, like pretty successfully, right? So for that, what we'll be using is we'll be using a package called we'll be using two package, node1 and ts node. By the way, no, okay, there's some issue. Okay, we have to write add. I mean, we haven't given a command. So node1 is like it will automatically restart or refresh us like the whole server whenever we make changes to our source code, and ts node is used internally by node1, so we'll not be directly using that. So what we'll do is we'll call it node1 src /index.ts. so that's the file which it will be using. That's fine. I mean, this is not the file. This is like dist /index.js is the file. So let's actually start by writing log test and running this. So let's call it like yarn dev. Yay, we have our file. Yeah, we have our file. So we have this thing running, right? So you can see that we have this thing running pretty successfully, right? The next thing what we have to do is we have to start making our server. So we'll import express first. From express, I hope so it is visible. Should I make this bigger, smaller? I don't know. I think this is fine, right? So express from cars, import helmet from helmet, import Morgan from Morgan. Do we need anything else? I don't know. We'll see. Let's first start by defining all the middlewares, or no, making the first app, right? So our express app, right? So this is our express app. Okay, this is our express app. So what we'll say is app is equal to, which is the type of app is application, right, is equal to express, and we'll execute this as a function. Next thing what we have to do is like this is the application. Next thing what we have to do is we have to make a constants file which can actually hold all the constants. So we'll make it utils dictionary, inside the which we'll be storing all our utility things. So constants dot ts, right? And we'll be exporting a const. We'll name this port, right? So this is the port number, and if we define any port in the .env file, or if there in the server there is already a port defined, right? Process.env.port, if that is defined, we want to use that. And if there is no port already defined, we want to use our port, which is port 8080. That's the port which we want to use, right? Next thing, we'll use like is dev, like is the environment currently in which we are running is development environment. So for that we will put .node-env, okay, process.environment.node-env is not equal to production. So if it is not equal to production, right, that means that there is like it is the development environment. So these two constants we have set up for now. Maybe in the future we may require more of these, right? So okay, so these are all the middleware. So if you don't know what middleware already is, middleware is actually a program which runs in middle of the request sent by the user and received by your wherever that function is where you are handling that request, right? So it is run in between. So for example, let's say you have to check the password, like you have to check the authenticity of the user, right? So you can check it in between and send it to next. So there are a lot of inbuilt middlewares which helps us a lot in many different things. So that's what we are placing over here. So we use in order to use any middleware. So the first is scores. I'm leaving that empty. By the way, you don't leave that empty in a production application. What you do is you write origin. Okay, let's do this. Okay, origin, and then you specify the front end URL. So for now, I think it will be 3000. So let's specify this. This is the URL which will be only this URL will be allowed to actually communicate with our backend. In a production scenario, this will be conditional. Okay, so if it is a development environment, this will be allowed. If it is a production environment, it will be the URL of the front end, whichever you are using in the production, right? So this is the middleware. This is our Express app. Next thing what we need is okay. So our middleware is not all done. So we have more of them. So then it is helmet. Helmet just removes some. It's like a security thing which removes all the headers, which could be a potential security threat to our application, right? So that's what it is. Next thing is Morgan. If you're thinking what the Morgan is used for, Morgan is just used for login, right? So like every request will be logged out there, so you can know what is happening in your server. Okay, so next thing what we need is here, what we can do is you can define all your routes over here, which we'll be doing in a while. So here, right, which we'll be doing in a while. But before that, what do I want to set up is 404 route, right? So let's say if someone comes and he just writes a wrong address, right? So we want to simply send them that you have written a wrong address, please get lost. We don't give you service. So what we do is we'll simply say app.use, not app.use, app.all, and if any request comes, right? So if none of these requests could actually handle this, is a 404 request, right? So it falls back to this at the end, right? So we'll remove that space from there, and yeah, you also have a request and a response over here, and right. So what we'll do is we'll send a response with a status of 404, right? And what I want to do is I want to just create a response.ts, right? And I want to export a function, right? So what this function is for is this will give us a common response structure for entire application, so that we can expect a common structure in the front end everywhere, right? So now I just don't like this export. Let's call it like let response be equal to this thing, right? What am I typing? Okay, and what we'll do is we'll simply say export default, whatever is the response we want to send, and we want to return, like, okay, this will return an object, by the way. What do we want? So let's call it something like this. So let's create an interface and let's call it like a response structure. Okay, and what do you want? First thing we want is the response, which will be like response, right? So like this is where we'll be sending the response, so we can say response, right? Next thing what we want is we want a message which will be a string, right? So it could be string, it could be null, it's completely fine, right? That's why we have the capital S in the string, right? So if you don't know what is the difference between a capital S, this like this could be like this is from a network, so it could be undefined or null or a string. That's completely fine. Then we need a status code, which will be a number in our case. Do we need anything else? I don't know. Data, that could be of any type, right? So data could be of any type, and we need all these four things. If you have these things, it's completely fine, right? So what we'll do is we'll say response, right? And this should have a structure of this response structure, right? Okay, what we'll do is we'll just say response. Okay, we'll say if response.res is not defined, I mean this is not present, right? So we'll throw an error in this case. So let's say throw new come on. What am I typing, man? Come on. New error, and the error is there is no response given, right? The response object is invalid or is not given, right? But if it is present, right? So what we want to do is we want to say response dot rest dot status code response dot status code dot send, right? And what do you want to send? So you can define the body, how you want to send the structure. So first of all, it will have a message, which is response dot message, right? And then you have like a data thing, which is right. And then you have like, okay, you have data, you have response, message. What else do we want over here? And that's pretty much it. Data and message. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So that this is the response object, and we'll be using this over here. So what we'll do is we do not have to do anything of this sort. So we'll say response, right? Do we have like that imported? No. Import a response. We can even like from, right? Okay, we have the spelling of the response is wrong, so we'll say response. Yes, okay. So we have changed the import, so it's now response, and now we can say response over here. By the way, this will require an object, and now we can just say res is the res. Next message, the given path was not found on the server, right? And then status code is 404 because it is not found, and the data is currently nothing, so there's no data. And after this what we'll do is in the response only, after sending the response, we'll say response dot rest dot end, right? So we'll end this whole thing, right? So whenever the response is sent, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the response which we are sending. By the way, we are doing this thing, I mean we are doing this whole response thing just to keep the response structure same, right? So this will be a compulsory for for the entire application to respond in the structure. The next thing what we'll do is we will make error handler, right? So if you're thinking what is an error handler is actually something through which like all your errors will fall back to this thing, and this can handle all your errors. So that's pretty much cool. So what we can do is we'll simply say that app.use. Okay, so we can just create something like this. So we can say error handler, right? And we can say error error request handler, whatever this is, right? So we have to handle this over here. In the error handler, you have 4 different things. First is the error, second is the request, then the response, and then finally we have the next function, right? So just give me a second. Whatever. So yeah, so we have like the error, and here what we have to do is we have to again give the response structure, right? And the status will be 500 because it's the internal server error. The message is there was some internal server error, right? And then the data, so data will be conditional. So if it is like is dev, right? So if it is a development environment, the question mark. If it is a development environment, we'll send the error as a like, so that I can do. Otherwise we'll say again a message, please contact the developer, right? And then finally what we'll have is we have data, message, everything we have. What else are we missing? We are definitely missing something. Okay, response, the main thing, right? So we'll do it over here. Let's say if you don't need request and you just don't want this squiggly line to be there, so what you can do is you can just press underscore in like inside of them, so that will like the compiler will understand that you are no more using that in the function itself. And let's say you have to want to use this error handler. How will you do that? We'll say app.use error, okay, error handler, right? So that will pretty much take care of it. The next thing what we have to do is finally starting the server. So starting the server, right? How will we start a server? By the way, this is like a this is a quite like production grade setup. This is quite helpful, right? So if you know this, I think you can set up a very good quality TypeScript based Express server, right? So yeah. So by the way, we haven't created routes over here, but we will be eventually, right? So we'll be creating that for sure. So starting the server. So here actually there will be a subtle difference. For now I'm just writing, right? So app.listen. We have the port defined, right? We have the port there, and then we have a callback, right? So whenever a server starts, we have this callback, and we can say server started successfully on port, and then you can define the port over here, whichever is there, right? So this is like a full Express server. We can definitely run it right now. I think it must be running already. Okay, request response. What is the error? It says request is declared but its value is never read. Okay, the issue is I'll just show you the issue. The issue is this, right? So we just need to provide an underscore here. Do we have any other issue? No, we don't. So we'll save it, right? So we'll save it. We'll see is our server running successfully or not. Again, we have an issue. The issue is Morgan. Okay, so we haven't installed Morgan yet. We have the type definition, but we don't have Morgan itself. So let's add Morgan into our project, right? Let's quickly add it. And you can just call dev now, and I think, yeah, we have our server successfully running on port 8080. If you don't trust me, I'll just show you. Local host port 3030. Oh, 8080, not 3030, right? You can say the message, the given path was not found on the server because we don't have, and you can see the logs being generated. The logs is being generated due to the Morgan middleware which we were using, right? So, and it's showing a 404 message, like whatever this data. The reason is because we don't have any route here in between, right? So that's pretty much cool. The next thing is we actually have to make the routes. Yes, you have guessed it correct, right? So yeah, so first of all we have to use Socket.io in order to make it like what can I say, a Socket compatible server, right? So a Socket compatible server, we'll have to do this, right? So let's go to Socket.io, like let's go to Socket.io website, and let's see what's the documentation says. Socket.io, right? So let's go to documentation and let's search for express over here, right? So we'll have users which express capability with express middleware. What is that? So io.on connection. What is express session? I don't know. Can we use it with express? That's the question. Express with express. Okay, this is how we do it. So basically you have a server, right? So Socket, let's first actually install this thing. So for installing this, we'll say yarn add socket .io. How to do that? How do you actually add this to your application? Wait, TypeScript. Okay, okay, okay. It's called socket.io. The backend, I think socket.io, right? And we'll have to install its type definition as well. So we'll say yarn add /t @ type /socket.io. Yay, we have successfully installed the type definition of socket.io. So after this, what we want to do is we actually want to add socket.io to our backend server. So let's actually try to do it. I mean, let's minimize this and let's try to add socket.io to our server. So how will we do that? Let's change our theme for now. I'm not liking this theme a lot. This is looking better, I believe. Yeah, this is looking better. So okay, so after this, what can I do? Okay, let's create the routes folder where we'll be having all the routes. Okay, so let's cross this out. Let's go to a source folder and let's create a routes folder which will contain all the routes over here, right? And let's create an index dot, not index dot, chats dot ts. So this is the chat section. By the way, this server is highly scalable. You can scale it to like a very giant project. That will be completely fine. The structure follows that whole production thing, a production application thing, so that like this same structure you can use in the production as well. Whatever the thing is, let's go to routes, chats. I think let's create the users ts, because what happened, man? Why are you very angry? Okay, we don't care. Get lost. Okay, so in the users.ts, what we'll do is the first thing what we'll be doing is basically writing all the routes for user management, but we'll need controllers for them and services for them. So let's create the services first, right? Right. The first service we'll be having is user service, user.ts. If you're not getting what is a service is actually your business logic which you create. So all the user creation database thing will be happening over here, right? So yeah. Wait, why are we creating this user thing when we are actually handling with GitHub? Do we want to use it GitHub for this? No, we want to implement this, but implementing the whole custom login will be a very long, tedious task to do. Should I use GitHub login or should I use this thing? I think I should use GitHub login. Yes. But for that I'll need passport. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we'll need to set up passport again for now. So let's do it. Let's set up passport now. So do you know what is passport is? By the way, passport is not the passport which you use for like traveling to various countries. It is this library which helps you to uh, which helps you to add authentication to your project. So this library could actually help you to add like authentication, very good quality authentication to your project. So yeah, we can use this one. Do we have a GitHub strategy? GitHub 2, GitHub auth 2. Okay, which one is having more likes? This is having more likes, so we'll be going with this one, right? Okay. Passport npm, right? Okay, passport.js. How to install it? Man, I don't want that. Okay. This is the command. It's called passport. Let's add it. Okay. So yarn add passport, right? Yarn add /type/passport, right? We have added these two libraries, and then we have to install this passport GitHub 2. Yarn add this passport GitHub 2. I don't know, like, do we have a type definition for this as well or not? I think so. We should have technically. Okay. I think we should have technically. So yarn add @type/, right? So yeah, we're done with that. I think we'll need GitHub auth, something like that. So a callback URL. Okay. GitHub client secret, GitHub client ID, all those things we need. Let's scroll. Okay. Also, I'll just tell you how to actually create one. Okay. So you go to your github.com, right? And what you do is you just say, you go over here, right? And you click on this thing called settings, not help, man, settings. Where am I going? I need to go to settings. Once you go to settings, you have to go to your application section, right? And you can see authorized, or you can need authorized OAuth, right? Oh, authorized GitHub app, right? So you need to actually specify the password which you have, right? And okay, so you have like these authorized apps which you can use it. So let it be, right? So okay, how can I add my own, like, how can I get this secret developer settings? Let's go. Okay, now here, okay, inside the developer settings we have like auth apps, and it's my app which I have added like previously. I'll add one more like right now. So new auth apps. Let's name our application pro chat app, right? The homepage is what is our homepage? http://localhost localhost port 3000 is our homepage. No, our homepage is port 8080, right? That's the server URL which we have. Okay, once we do that, application description. So this is just a learning application, right? And then you have callback URL. By the way, callback URL is very, very important. So let's call it like users or user slash sign up, or user dot slash callback. Just remember this URL is because this is a very vital for if you are like this is the callback which will be important, right? So just remember this. Okay, so let's register application. You'll get a client ID and a secret ID, right? So for storing all these things, we will need something called .env. So yarn add .env, right? And let's add this. We cannot add it, that's sad. Okay, yarn add dot env, which added. Yarn add @type slash dot env, and of course we'll be adding hyphen d because development is important, right? So development dependencies we have to add, right? So once we have done all those things, let's configure this out. So let's create a .env file. First of all, we need several things over here, right? So just give me a second. So we need a client ID and client secret. So I'll just tell you like how will you be actually adding it. So you'll do like client ID, right? And you can add it, and then client secret, right? See, after the equal to, you have to add your client ID and client secret. I'll not be showing you, of course, for like normal reasons. You already know. You already have seen my client ID, but that's fine. So I have my client ID there. There's my app. Okay, here it is. I have my client ID. I want the client secret. So where's the client secret? I'm just coming back. Give me a second, man. Right. So I have a client secret. Where can I add it? I can add it over here. Okay, I have a client ID and a client secret, right? So I have a client ID and a client secret, right? So added in my .env file, and right, so yeah, I'll just go back. Right, so not over here, man, come on. Right, yeah, over here. So you can see like I have added my pro chat application inside the GitHub. So you can also add it like this, and you'll have your client ID and client secret added to your this pro chat, whatever this is. So you can add it, right? After that, what you have to do is you have to go to inside your this thing, and you have to import .env, right? So let's say import .env from, okay, I think it's like called config. Okay, so from .env, and that thing which we want to import is called config, right? So once we import config, what we'll do is we'll say config. Either you can do this will by default pull in all the default settings. I think this is okay, right? So you can do this. So for environment variables, okay, so that's pretty much it. That's how you actually like .env, if you have the access to all the .env variables throughout the application now. So next thing what we have to do is we have to set up the passport, right? And yeah, so how are we actually gonna set up passport? For now, like let's call this inside the utility only. I don't know, should this be utility or lib? Let's create a lib. I mean, this will be handling all our libraries, and let's call it like passport.ps, right? So this will be all passport thing. Import passport from passport, import GitHub, whatever, import how I don't remember that documentation. I have to see for the GitHub. It says you have to use GitHub strategy, something like GitHub strategy, which is we will be getting it from here. So what we can do is we can say GitHub strategy. How we actually do it? So strategy as GitHub strategy. Okay, strategy. strategy strategy. Yeah, that's correct. So we have the GitHub strategy there. So next thing what we'll do is we will actually use the documentation. So let me actually grab the documentation, put it on my other screen so that I can, oh my god, what have I done? I don't want to move that out. Okay, yeah, so I want to move my my window on my other screen so that I can keep on seeing that. Okay, and let's actually configure this. So we will say passport dot use, okay, new whatever this GitHub strategy is, right? And then what we want to do is we want to give client ID, which is process.env client ID, which we have just set up as a string, right? So the next thing what we have to do is we have the client secret. So again, we have the client secret, which will be saying process.env client secret, right? And we have the callback URL, right? So from where will you get the callback URL? That's the question. So you'll be getting it from the GitHub itself. So just go to your application. I'll just show you again, right? Here is your application, right? And you'll have the callback URL over here, right? So you just copy that out, copy that up, right? And paste this in your callback URL section, right? And then you have like one more thing after this. I mean, one more argument, which is actually, I'll just go through this, right? And which is a callback function, right? Okay, what is the okay, it's like it should be a string, right? So okay, so we have a callback function, and inside the callback function you get access token, right? So access token, which we actually want to save, and then refresh token, right? So and then profile, right? And then done. By the way, I just want to make clear, okay, what is the type of this? That's the question. How can I set a type for this? Is declared, but value never read parameter implicitly has any type. Token, I think this will be a string. This must have, okay, what other things do, okay, this has a verify, which has a verify function, auth to verify function. Okay, so okay, let's make it over here as like separately, right? So auth verify function as auth. Can we import it? I don't know. Let's forget about this, man. Let's actually specify the types directly, like implicitly over here. So we'll have like string as a type. Refresh token will also be a string. The profile will be of type any, because I don't know what will be the profile of, and done will be actually a function, right? So yeah, we have the type for everything. So for now, I just want to log profile, and I want to say done, right, with true as like an option, right? So okay, done actually has an error, and so we'll say null, no error, and I will pass an empty object. So that's the user currently, right? And for the access token, we'll just underline this. For the refresh token, we'll underline this, right? For now, we don't need that. We'll see that later on, right? And next, okay, how can I configure this passport thing, right? So you just have to import this. So that's as simple as that. So let's go to our user service, which was in the services section, user section, right? And let's import passport over there. Passport okay, passport, right? And then what you have to do is you have to create a router. So how, first of all, let's import router from Express, right? So from Express, let's call it router, right? And let's now create a router is equal to new router, right? And we have the router now. Okay, so this is not a new router. I think router is enough, right? And we'll export this router from here. So we'll say router as default, right? Okay, wait a second. This is a service, right? So okay, uh I don't know, do we need a user service or not? Like, I'm not pretty much sure, because this service main authentication is actually handled by Express itself, so we do not need this. I think in the route section, right, so if we have like a users routes, that will be enough, more than enough. So right, then we have then we'll actually have router from Express, right? And sorry for writing this again, but we'll have to do this. We could have copy pasted this, of course, but it's completely fine. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, I'm not accepting my mistake, that's it, I'm sorry. Router dot, okay, get request at /auth /github. You can just write anything, right? So any authentication URL, and you just have to say passport dot github passport.authenticate, and what you have to do is you have to pass GitHub as a option, because that's what you would want, and we want the scope. So scope is actually how much information do you actually want about the user. So what do you want is, we'll say user and email, right? So these two things we want, which we want, and you have to supply this as an string. So okay, come on, okay, just supply this as a string. So now once you have done that, you have to actually create a callback function, and remember the callback function is the same which was actually given when you gave, or when you created it, right? So just get a note of that. So we'll say, okay, we do not need this one, that's fine. So we'll say slash callback. I don't even remember what was the callback function which I have given. Okay, what was the name? It's like user slash callbacks. It's like callback simply, right? So in the callback function, what you can do is you can just say, you can just say this. So you can just pass passport dot passport dot what passport dot again authenticate, right? And we'll have GitHub, right? And it will have failure redirect, right? Failure redirect, it will redirect to login, right? So if it fails, it will redirect to login, which is for now we do not have the login, so it will primarily, like most probably would give you like a 404 error. So we'll say response dot redirect us for now, and let's redirect us to home page, as we are not using these like request one, so we'll just say underscore. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we have a callback function, we have this. What we have to do is we have to go to our route thing. Okay, we have the users route, right? So we'll create an index.txt file over here, which will accumulate all the routes, right? And will actually act on that. So again, import from Express, right? So what is the thing which we want to import? We want to import router, right? And then what we want to do is we want to say that the router is actually the function executed, and you want to export this router, right? Now next what you can do is you can say router.use, anything which comes at user, right? Will redirect the router will redirect to the user router, which we have over here. So we'll say it the user router from /users, right? So what you can do is you can just say that I just want to redirect this whole thing to the user router, right? So we have the user router over here. I don't know how much time have we already spent. 49 minutes approximately. Oh, that's okay. So we have the user router over here, okay, so which can actually route all the requests coming to user to this user router, right? And now we'll be using this router in the index page, but before that we actually have to import this thing called passport, right? So we'll have to say util slash no lib slash passport, so that like this could actually be started on, like this could be triggered, right? So we can even do this. So import from dot slash lib slash passport, right? So okay, actually there's nothing being like imported from that file. How to initiate that file? Let's use require only, right? So I think it's completely fine to use this, right? So we'll see. Okay, we will see if we'll require the information. We'll do that, something about that. So that's the passport thing, right? So I don't think so there's an issue in our application. There is an issue. It says OAuth 2 strategy requires a client ID. Okay. OAuth 2 strategy requires a client ID. Where have we committed the mistake? We have given a client ID. I mean, that's there. Okay, let's close this. Let's try to run it again. Okay. Not that. Yarn dev. Okay, I'm doing this and I'm getting this error. What is the error? Error says throw new type error or through strategy required a client ID option. Okay. So I think I have given the client ID over here. What is the, okay. So it is actually not able to pick up the client ID. I mean, you're getting it right. So the issue is in the index page. If you see, we are like we are requiring this before actually having this config, right? But the reality is we are using the config or the environment variables in the so now this should actually solve the issue. So this will actually configure and all the env variables will be present in beside this. So oh, now yeah, we have our server successfully running. So let's actually test it. So let's actually go to the path and try to log in with our GitHub. So let's call it like localhost port 8080, yeah, slash okay, wait, no, this will not work now. We forgot to set it up over here, right? So we didn't import it over here. By the way, okay, I just want to call this config on the top because this might be used by other like these things, right? So just call this on the top. This will be making your life easier. So I just want to import I want to import routes from dot slash routes, right? So that's all the routes, right? So we can just copy this thing, and after this, okay, here we have the route section. So we can say app.use anything which comes whatever. So anything which comes with slash, which is like in the home page, we want to actually redirect it to routes. Yeah, right. So we that will be handled by routes. So usually in the applications, what we do is we just like append this with API slash something like that. So you can do that if you are in a production environment. I think that would be very essential. That will actually differentiate your production and development environment. So let's do it. Actually, we'll actually have to that's very important for us. So API, which actually will define it, but there's one issue. If you do that, we'll actually have to import the change the callback URL over here. So we'll call it like API slash, right? Not save this. Okay, what I'm doing, I'll just show you. I'm just changing this authorized callback URL to this, right? Which I think I have done successfully, so that should work now. So let's see, does our server have restarted? Yeah, it's has restarted successfully. So let's actually now try to go to that URL and localhost port 8080 slash API slash user slash What was that? I forget, man, I forget. It is called auth/github. Okay, so user/auth/github, right? Oh, we have a long internal server error. There was some internal server error. The data is authorization error. The redirect UI must be matched with the registered callback URL from the message code. Redirect URL message. Oh my god. Oh, oh, oh. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. Redirect UI must match. Okay. First of all, what we'll do is we'll go to our application and we'll go back to developer settings for now. And I just want to go to like this, go to applications and install GitHub apps, configure danger zone, suspend uninstall, authorize apps, versal auth authorized. That's fine. Okay, I think there's some issue with a with a callback URL. We have some issue. Okay, let's try to do it again. A user/auth/github. Error redirect URI mismatch. Okay. Oh, the issue. Oh, got it. The issue is that in the passport.js we have this wrong URI, right? So the URI should be API/user/ whatever this is. So I hope so our server restarted after this change. Yeah, the server has restarted in fact, and we'll try to do it again now. So API/user/auth/GitHub. We have the GitHub login. Yeah. So we'll simply say pro chat app. Do you want to authorize this? So I'll say yeah, I want to do that. This will redirect, and so there was some internal server error. There's no data. Why is there an internal server error for this? I don't know. Okay, so we have /API/user/callback (code), which is this one. Oh, there's some internal server error. So I think we have okay, man. The thing is, we like the user option we have given wrong. You can see we have all the information about user, which is like the public information about like the bio, the everything. Like we have all these information, right, about the user. So all the followers, all the following, everything about him, right? So we can save this information in our database, but before doing that, we actually have to set up our database, right? So I think up till setting the database, that's what we'll be doing today. Rest setting up like the platform for like all the shortcut stuff in the backend, we'll be doing it in the next episode. So let's set it up. What we'll be using for that? We'll be using SQLite for database, right? So nothing fancy. You can very, very easily switch to something fancy like MySQL or Postgres or anything like that. We'll be using this Kinects to actually build queries, right? So yeah, this is how you connect to this. Okay, and then how do you execute it? I mean, okay, so whatever the thing is, let's actually install Kinects first, right? So do we have like this for TypeScript support? We have it over here. That's how you do it, Kinects, right? So let's actually install Kinects first, and then after we'll be thinking about how to use it and stuff, right? So we have like some sort of, I don't know why it is showing an error over here. We'll think about that later on. Let's add Kinects over here, right? And after that we'll be adding a development of like the types of Kinects, right? So type definition of Kinects, we have added the type definition of Kinects as well. Okay, That's so cool. That's so cool. Oh man, can you see? I have never used Connects, by the way. I'm not a pro SQL guy. I'm a no SQL guy. But let's see. I mean, I said like I just thought like, what's wrong in actually trying this out? So declare module connects. Okay, this type, then interface tables. Okay, so you would say user. Okay, you say tables, interface tables, and then you say users as users. Okay, this is same as specifying connects users, whatever this is. For most more advanced types, you can specify separate. Okay, then users composite. Okay, now what you can do is you can say connects a table, b table dot select a title, a dot title, b dot title, where row. Okay, oh my god, that's so cool. I mean, this is very powerful, I'm sure. I just want all the examples for SQLite 3. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Okay, let's actually start doing this. So what we'll do is we will in the lib will have like a DB sort of thing, which is like a database thing. So here actually we'll be registering our user, keeping every information by the user. Once the user signs up, we cannot every time go to that like GitHub and tell GitHub like, okay, I want the user's information. We'll have to save it. So first of all, we'll have to decide what information do we want to save and how we are actually going to do it. So we will actually import connects now. Then we'll declare a module, right? And the module will be connects slash type slash tables, right? And then what we'll do is we'll create interfaces, right? So first interface will be user interface. User will have like a first name, right, which will be of type string, and a last name which will also be of type string, right, and a profile photo which will also be of type string, right, and created at and updated at for sure. So created at maybe a string again, updated at maybe a string again. Why are you facing these errors? No, we haven't given a semicolon over here. Okay, so we have these different things, right? So we have declared a user, right? Okay, and then from here you can keep on defining the table. So you can have like a interface and you can call it tables, right? And you can call it like users table, which will be of structure user, right? Then user, we can have a composite user or like all those kinds of things. So you can definitely do that. I mean, okay. And then after what? To reduce boilerplate and add interference type, you can argument tables interface in the connects table module. Okay, that's cool. I don't even think this is required. Let's do this. Right, for now we only have the users thing. So yeah, before doing that, actually what I want to do is I want to connect to the wherever, like I want to connect first of all. Okay, so let's go at the top and let's see how can we do that. Okay, so we need a SQLite VS Code required for SQLite. Okay, so we need a, like, if we want a SQLite support, what we need to do is we need to add this package called @ VS Code / SQLite SQLite, right? So we need this package. Yeah. There's one more package which I don't know is like necessity or required or not. It's called Better SQLite, but it's fine. I just want to install this. So okay, so let's actually start configuring connects, right? So what we'll do is we'll import connects right now. So import connects from connects, right? And we'll say let db is equal to connects. We'll give all the configurations, all the properties over here. So first of all, which client do we want to use? We want to use not MySQL. It's SQLite, man. I don't know. SQLite, right? Do we have to specify 3 or something like that? Connection, host. We don't need any host or something. Connects SQLite. Connects SQLite. Config.development. What is the config it's using actually? I could not find the configuration file, so just I'm trying to find it. If okay, you are also interested, right, in what I'm looking at. This is what I'm looking at. I just want to see like how I have it config. Like, okay, can I have your GitHub, man, please? I don't like. Okay, follow me on GitHub, connect. Okay, I don't wanna do any of those. I wanna see the configuration file, man. Can I see that? SQLite 3. Let's install SQLite 3. Oh, here it is. This is a configuration it's using. Yeah. So we'll be using pretty much the same configuration because we are also using SQLite and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So the client which we're using is SQLite 3, right? The connection, the file name which we want to specify is ./data/db.db, right? Or data/database.db, right? So which will contain all the data, right? And then these are some additional use null as default to true, and then migrations. So all the Okay, so we actually want to create like all the migrations over here. So we'll say dot slash data slash migrations, right? And then we'll call it like seeds. We'll create your seeds in the data folder automatically. Okay, I don't know what is seeds are. Dictionary slash dot slash data slash seeds, right? So these are all the database settings which we have. I think so that works. Okay, what we have to do? Okay, we are not using this anywhere for sure, so this will not be used. So because this is like a universal setup. Next thing what we'll do is that's pretty much it for now. We'll just comment this part, right? And we will again in the index file will require this after this. So we'll say require dot slash lib slash db, which is the database thing. Do we have this restarted like pretty successfully, or do we have some issue? Let's try to at least fire up the server again. Yeah, on dev, do we have any issues? Oh, we don't have any issue. Do we have like the data file created, something like that? No, we don't have that data file created yet. So let's go here and actually try to we'll try to create a user now in the passport.js, right? So here at this place what we have is we have like a profile of the user, right? So we'll pass this profile over here, right? So we'll call it like profile, right? First of all, let's try to save this in the database, like save the user in the database over here. Save the user in the database. Let's try to do it, right? Let's go to Connects documentation and actually see how to do it. They do it. Next, insert it's not returning all to be to string. Okay, so let's import connects first here, right? So connects from connects, right? And we'll call it like connects, wait, connects dot, wait. Why I'm worried is, I'll just tell you the reason why I'm worried, because this will be called after the server starts, right? And the passport thing is happening over here. So I want this database configuration to happen before this, right? So I just want that to happen. So that we can use this over here. So I think that doesn't matter because this function will be called afterwards. Oh, that doesn't matter, but still I just want to keep this there. Connects dot okay, so we have to give the table name okay. Okay, so it will like next dot okay friends, so here we go. So now we can actually, I think, say that insert okay, how will it actually know that we have what all tables do we have, like what is the table schema? How will actually it know? table insert A, B, returning all. Specify the client for particular favor of SQL you get parameterized. Okay. Custom user with okay. Custom user whatever this is. After create, okay. Pool set time zone, whatever this is. After create done, select set limit. Okay. Migrations. I didn't get that. How will it create the schema, man? I mean, it definitely needs a schema, right? Okay, here is how you actually have the schema. Now I got it. So we're actually going correct, right? So the module which we were declaring, right? So we were absolutely correct, right? So to reduce boilerplate and different types, you can argument table into something like this. We'll run this. Let's see what does this, what error does it throw. Yeah, let's do this. I mean, how? I didn't get it. Insert to, let's say, users table, right? And for example, I just say uh, hmm. Oh, this is how you define a schema. Oh, we actually have to configure schema. So the have read this part. This is the part which I was reading. So I simply got to know that we actually have to configure the schema right now over here in the db.ts. So let's do that. Let's quickly do that. Once we have this, we'll have the db, right? So we'll say let db is equal to something like that, right? So now you can say db.schema dot create table, right? So you can say the first table which we want to create is actually user table, right? So we'll have a user table, right? A users table, right? So and dot and this will give you a callback which will have a table, right? And something like that, right? So what you can do is you can say table dot auto increment, right? So this will have like an id thing which will be incrementing every time. Next thing what we can do have is like a first name thing which will have like a okay, we'll have like a table dot string and which will have like a first name. So you can, yeah, hello, I'm back. So it was quite late and I didn't had my food, so I just ate my food. My mother was that. So yeah, first name table string. So like we don't care. So first name, and you can even set the length limit. So you can say that how much could be a table, like it could be like 100, 200, and then we can have like a table dot again string will be the last name. So we can have like a last name. We can say again this is a 200 characters long, and then we can have another table. We can call it like uh, first name, last name, date, whatever this is, I don't know, date, time, We can just collab. What can we have next? We can have like the timestamp thing, which will be created on, right? So we can have like a field uh, called timestamp, and we can have like a created on thing, right? And then again we can have like a date of timestamp, and it will have like updated on. We have these things. Do we need anything else? We definitely need a lot many things other than this. So okay, okay, so we have like the timestamps thing which automatically creates this created at and updated at. So we'll be using that timestamps thing over here, right? And then the next thing what we want is the profile image. Profile image, which could be 400 characters long, I think, like, because profile images are like, why have I writing profile image over here? It should be string, right? uh, right. And then what we can have is, what we can do is we can just that's pretty much it. That's the table which we have, the users table, right? So we can run this application. We have some issues. It says SQLite connects. We cannot have like something like that, SQLite connects. So we'll just remove this for now. Remove this for now. Save this. Okay. We have some sort of issue. It says import connects from connects. Unable to compile TypeScript. Connects is declared, but its value is never read. Where? In which file? Index file. Where? I cannot see connects. Okay. Like anywhere. Okay. Passport.ts. Passport.ts connects. Okay. Save this. Do we have? Okay. Has table to check if the table exists or not. Then use plain create. Okay. Got it. So it's giving us a warning, like this warning. It says like please use has table to check if there is. Since create actually just generates plain create if not exist query will not work correctly if there is any alter table queries. Okay. This is the issue. Uh yeah. Whatever the thing is, but where is my database? I think it is in the home folder. So let's actually go to the home folder. Applications home folder, right? So uh right. So if we just go to Macintosh system, okay. So this thing doesn't make sense for us. So let's do one thing. Let's call it path. Now right, and what we can say is over here is instead of this, we can say path join process.c wd, which is current working directory, slash data slash database, right? And you can copy this stuff, right? We can paste this over here. We can paste this over here. Instead of this, what we can do is, okay, uh, database slash data slash whatever this is. This will be migrations, right? And this will be all the seeds, right? So that's how it will be. Okay, we have this done, but we couldn't find the address in this directory. where is our where is our role, like that thing, whatever the DB and all. Let's actually try to find it out. Where is our we don't have any data folder whatsoever over here. I don't know where is this actually creating this thing. We couldn't see this file or folder. I think this DB, whatever this is not being called anywhere. Could be an issue. Right. Is it? I'm sure this is being called. That's only. Okay, do we have to commit this? I mean, what? Hmm. Do we have like a dot then thing? Like, how does it work? Oh, it's not reaching over here. इसका मतलब कहीं तो बन रहा है. Okay, guys, I think I'll have to figure this out. I mean, the connect thing, which we'll be doing in the next video, probably. So I'll just figure this out and we'll start from the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.